your parents from? And then I had to answer because I couldn't lie about that. And then they just went, oh, I knew it. Hi everybody, Queen of the North here. I know a lot of you are subscribed for my reaction videos, but for those of you who missed it, a few weeks back I made a post basically saying that I want to do a mixture of vlogging and reaction videos for now. I still want to do reaction videos for the time being. I love doing them. I really genuinely love doing them, they're so fun, but I'm starting to get like really creative. I want to talk about topics that are important to me and things that inspire me and things that I am passionate about. So if you guys have got any ideas about what topics I want to do in the future, please comment below. Today I'm going to be talking about my mixed race identity. I touched on it a little bit in my talking about my past and white privilege video. If you want to watch that to kind of know a bit where I'm coming from, the link is in the description below. Mentioned in that video, for those of you who want to skip it, that's totally fine, but I briefly mentioned in that video basically that I am mixed race. I am definitely very privileged because I am passing white. Like, I am not fully English. I've got half English in me and then half something else, basically. I'm a mix of two, so I'm not totally English, and so I am a passing white person because I am not fully white. And majority of you were great and were kind and were like, yes, Black Lives Matter. But there was one person who was just like, I rolled my eyes when you said passing white privilege, and another one said, you're whiter than I am. But you're like a ghost. I didn't say, oh my god, like a ghost, but I feel like the implication was there. Yes, that's the thing. People see me and they genuinely assume because I have assimilated so much into white culture that I am fully English. So just a full-on Western person. I was born in London, I grew up in London, and even before I get into talking about this, talking about my mixed race identity in detail, I really want to say that I am extremely privileged. I have not had to be stopped by the police due to the colour of my skin. I've not had people staring at me. I don't think I've even had really derogatory remarks because I'm passing white. To be honest, I see myself as white. I remember when I was going to do that video about my passing white privilege, I had a then friend who said to me, you know, you're passing white, you're not, because they know my mix, so they were saying, you know, you're not actually. And I was thinking, oh, okay, I thought I was like white because that's how I see myself. I guess that's how society sees me, and that's how I've kind of seen myself. And yeah, I'm going to talk about my story because I think for a long time on this channel, honestly, I didn't share it due to some of the questions I get due to when people find out that I'm mixed, which I will go into in a little bit later on in the video. But I was afraid of those questions, and I think I'm not ashamed of being mixed, but I realize that now I feel like I'm denying that part of myself. I felt that for me to have a successful YouTube channel, I should shut my mouth when it comes to race, when it comes to things that I am truly passionate about, such as the feminism and LGBT rights and climate change and things like that. And now I've realized I'm not really being my authentic self. Obviously you guys are all entitled to your opinions and we can all respectfully agree and disagree. But yeah, so this is a story that I do want to share, and just kind of my struggles, which are nowhere near as bad as a person of color who happens to also be mixed race. This is genuinely, my struggles are literally as someone who looks white, and they are nothing compared. Honestly, they are nothing compared to a person who's a darker skin color than I am, and I just really want to make that clear. Something about, I don't know, there's something about saying the word white privilege that makes people really uncomfortable. So I want to emphasize this throughout this story, but I also wanted to share this story as well for anyone that is a little bit like me, has an unusual mix people don't really guess, but has assimilated very much into white culture. And so yeah, so I mention it, guys, because white privilege is a real thing, and it doesn't mean like it doesn't make you a bigot to have white privilege. It just is something to acknowledge. that it's there, that it's a real thing, that you are afforded more privileges in life than if you were a person of colour, especially a black person. So, the beginning of my mixed race story. I don't know how young, I remember being in primary school when I was conscious of the fact that I was mixed race. I would often get kids in my school asking me where I'm from. They'd see my parents. They'd be like, oh, I thought you were this. And I would just say it and repeat myself every time. And I would talk about the culture of my other race. And I just was fine about it, though. I was genuinely just fine about it. I was like, yes, this is a thing. I also want to mention that because growing up in London is a very multicultural place. It's very diverse. And so the primary school that I went to, literally, it was an extremely diverse primary school. So I was very aware from, I know not all of you guys may have had that upbringing, but I was very used to, from a young age, having friends of different races and different ethnicities. I was used to that already. I didn't actually have a lot of white friends growing up. It was actually more of the norm to have people that weren't white to be your friend. So anyway, majority of my friends growing up were not white when I was growing up. And then I go to secondary school, and because I'm quite a musical person, for those who know that I like to sing, so I was in school orchestra, and we'd have these school concerts and things, and people weren't aware from the get-go that I was mixed race, and people would be like, oh my god, I saw your parent, I didn't even know they were your parent, what? And I was like, yeah, they are my parent. And I don't know why I wasn't offended by that, but I mean, I don't know, teenagers, they say stuff like this, they say stupid stuff, but I mean, I was just like, yeah, no, they are my parent. I mean, I say teenagers, people still say this to me today, so I mean, to be fair, it's an accurate statement. I really don't look like my parents. I know there's you get to see kids with their parents and they look like mini-me's, and that's just not me at all. Yes, that was a thing. I would be asked, oh, where's this? And I'd be like, yes. And I'd answer the question. So when I was in year 12 at school, I was part of a mixed race conference. I was asked to be part of that because I was mixed race, and I was of a couple of others, and we actually had a group of kids in year 8 and 9, I believe. I can't really remember what age they were, about 13, 14. Mixed race students, and we set up this whole thing for them, and it was predominantly half black, half white. So still at this time, I was around people of different ethnicities, a lot of diversity in my school, and these kids would talk about their experiences about not being seen black enough, or seen too white or seen too black, because so they couldn't fit in with their white and black friends. And I remember just feeling, and this is genuinely the racism in me, which I am now painfully aware of, but at the time I just thought I didn't see it that way, and I was just thinking, oh, I want to fit in, and I didn't have the exact thought, oh, I want to be subjected to racism, but it was something I felt like, oh, this is a thing, because I really struggled a lot with not fitting in, which might be a topic I'll talk about in the future, but I really was like, oh, I want to fit into that, and I once had a kid of my culture just say to me, oh, you're not one of us. I mean, it was like a 7-year-old who said that to me. So, I mean, it wasn't really racism at its highest order. But for me, I leaped onto that. But because I had assimilated into looking white, being seen as white, I couldn't really relate to what they would, to be fair, no, I couldn't relate to what they were talking about at all. And they were saying, some of my friends at the time were saying to me, oh, but you look white, so, you're fine. And I was like, but we get racism too. Come on, that was my racism, definitely. And that's something I'm trying to be more aware of, the fact that due to my privilege, I do have racist thoughts. And I'm trying to actively be conscious of that, be aware of that, and try and challenge them as much as I can, and try and do the work to support people who are less privileged than I am. That was something, now on reflection, looking back, that was a racist thought I had. And I wouldn't have seen myself as racist because from a young age, I had friends of, I was friends with black people, Indian people, all kinds of races, honestly. And I wouldn't have seen myself as that at all. So yes, going to uni. At this point, I was a little just a little bit sick of this answering these questions. Where are you from? So I started making it like a guessing game. It was like a really cool guessing game. Like, oh, guess where I'm from? No, I'm not this mix. I'm not this mix. It's this mix. Like, it was like bingo. Like, hey, you got it right. And I just made fun of it really in the end. And when I went to uni, I mentioned before London is like very multicultural, very diverse. But being at uni, where I was going to uni, it was in like a small town, predominantly white people. And the only people of colour, majority people of colour I would see were international students. So anyone that's been to university can probably vouch this experience that literally they just stick in cliques and they don't talk to you. And I found it really weird. That was something that was my experience at uni. Maybe it's a different experience for some of you guys who are at uni. They're like, no, international students talk to us all the time. But that wasn't the experience for me. And I remember I was at second year at uni and saw a group of people who were from my other culture. And I went up to them and I was like, I introduced myself and they looked at me a bit like, oh, why this white girl talking to me? And then I explained that, oh, I have family where they were from. And like, it just opened, they immediately opened up to me, which I found really weird. And in my mind at the time racist, but I don't think it was. It was more just they were just so used to sticking together, and they were just really welcoming after that. It was an odd experience, I tell you. I don't know if this is like what prison is like. You know, they say I'm like, I used to watch Orange is the New Black, and that's what it seemed to be like with all the people of colour, certain ethnicities and races all sticking together. So I don't know if this is a thing. So that was a weird one for me. Being at uni, I think I really, really assimilated to white culture at that point because majority of my friends were white. I felt more at home with white people than people of my other culture, my other race, because I wasn't born there. I was born in London, I lived in London, I grew up there, and still live today. And so for me, I've just always assimilated to white culture, and that is a thing. I have been to the country where my other culture is, my other part of me is, and people just stare at me. Like, they literally look at me like I'm an alien, and I always genuinely feel so uncomfortable when people I don't really like people staring at me anyway. It's really uncomfortable for me. And though I know why, it's more just like admiration. They stare at me for admiration because being white is seen as something to be revered. And then when I'm around my relatives, it's even worse. They're like, what? They're with a white girl? Wow. I remembered one of my parents saying to me that they heard that a shopkeeper called me when I was 14, wow, she is so beautiful. Really quite creepy, because I'm pretty sure that shopkeeper was a grown man, to call a 14-year-old girl being really beautiful, but I don't know. So there you go. I start to be really consciously, I like I said, I do struggle fitting in. So when I'm around, when I'm in my country where my other half of me is from, I feel really like I really want to fit in, and I don't know the language either, which makes it really, really difficult. So I don't know the language, and I just feel a bit, I feel a bit on the outside. But when I'm with white people, I'm like, I speak this language. I remember the first time it really consciously annoyed me, but for all the other times I just tolerated it, was when I was working at the Olympics. Really not a fun job. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. I don't know if I'm allowed. And this guy said to me when he guessed where I was from, I was like, oh, you got it right. And he was like, oh wow, this is good, and just kind of, I don't know, I felt really uncomfortable where people were really trying to guess where I was from when I was there. And that was the first time I found myself feeling really annoyed, and I was thinking like, I don't want to answer this question anymore. I don't want to play this guessing game anymore. And I don't know, the older I got, I just got more and more sick of the where are you from. And in recent years, I honestly just say London, because it's where I was born. It's a bit harder for my boyfriend, who is also mixed race, but he wasn't born in England. So, he actually has to say where he was born, where he lived, and when he came to England. So for those of you who see my videos with him and I in it, you might find that a bit weird because his accent's very posh London, so you might be like, what? He's not even born here? Yeah, he wasn't. So I remembered I was working in Oxfam. I was volunteering there. I was on the shop floor, and this European lady, because we got a lot of like European immigrants as well, and this European lady anyway, she said to me, she looked at me and went, "Where are you from?" And I said, "London." And she gave me another look and she said, "But where are you really from?" I just said, "London. I will keep answering as London." And she just was like, "But where? But where? Where are you really from?" I was like, "No, I'm not going to answer you any differently, lady. It's still London." So, I mean, that's the question that irritates me the most about being mixed race. You don't feel like... The thing about being mixed race really is you don't feel fully at home with either. I've been quite assimilated to white culture, so I feel more at home amongst white people, but I am actually in the middle of trying to learn the language on my other side, and on my other side of the other part of me. I'm trying to learn the language of the other part of me, and other side, oh my god, I sound like I'm dying going to the other side. So I just really want something. I want to not lose that part of me, because that culture for me is important. Even growing up, I would eat from both cuisines, and it was really important to me. And I hope that when I have kids one day, that because my partner and I are both mixed race, so that will be a crazy mix in that as well. There's something I feel that for anyone who's mixed race watching this, there's something like this kind of familiarity mixed race people only understand. You're not enough to be in one, but you're not enough to be in the other. And I know it's a lot worse for people who are using one mix as an example, half black and half white. So I mean, the "where are you from" question really bugs me. I think I've been at a couple of jobs recently. Somebody I worked with, they said to me, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "London." And they went, "Where are your parents from?" And then I had to answer because I couldn't lie about that. And then they just went, "Oh, I knew it." I'm just like, okay, do you want what? Do you want £100? Do you want a free holiday? What do you want? So, this is a thing, and I know I've stressed this about 5 times in this video. I want to stress I'm extremely privileged. Using my boyfriend as an example, because he is mixed race, because he has darker skin colour than I am. I remember we went to Italy, and look, I'm not going to call any Italian viewers watching this, I'm not going to say all of you are racist, but we definitely got some very dirty looks when he was around, whereas when I remember going to Rome by myself back in 2017, back in 2017 I went to Rome by myself, and I didn't get any of that. In fact, people genuinely think I'm Italian. So I just also want to clarify I'm not Italian. So otherwise, yeah. So for him he gets the looks, and with me I don't. So there's definitely a difference there, and it's sad because he's used to it and I'm just not. It makes me really uncomfortable. Now he's getting weird stares, and I just like... The stares, if I got any stares, was because people revered my white skin. So there you go. But that is my story. I hope it's been informative in some way. And thank you for taking the time to watch this. I know it's quite a long video, but I just felt like sharing this. I think it's a really important part of my life that I want to share, and I want to share more stories about my life with you guys. If you've made it this far, I would really like you guys to support a charity I care about, and I'm also putting them in the description below, so even if you didn't get to this point, for anyone that didn't get to this point in the video, I will have put it in the description below, and I'm going to reiterate again in the comments. There's a charity I do really care about called Black Minds Matter UK. It's really important. Mental health is something I'm very passionate about, and black mental health is so important, especially whatever's going on in the world. They genuinely need the support and help. So if you have any money, I know it's a really difficult time for everybody financially, if you can donate to them, and also hashtag Black Lives Matter, because they always do. Even if you don't hear about police tear gassing black children, black people, black women, black children. Just in case anyone was wondering, no, I do not support the storming of the Capitol, because that is horrific. I don't want anyone to subscribe to me supporting the storming of the Capitol. If you support that, then you're supporting terrorism. I don't support terrorism. Thank you very much. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I know it's different from my react videos, but this is something I want to do more regularly. Although, I'll be honest, Lent is coming up, and for those that aren't aware, I always take a break from filming and posting videos from Lent, but hopefully, I've got so many reaction videos, I've got so many creative ideas, and I would love to hear your feedback. Be kind and respectful and loving in the comments as always, and yeah, let me know what other ideas you want to hear in the comments. Okay, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.